Hello everyone! It's time to finish up this game collection update, and I actually verified my YouTube account, finally, ever since I got a new cell phone. So now my videos can actually be longer than 15 minutes. So no longer will I have to abide by that time limit anymore. But yeah, so this entire video will all be Wii U games. And I'm going to start off with some of my digitally downloaded Wii U games that I can only show on the tablet. I can't show them on anywhere else. Yeah, starting off with this one right here, you'll probably see them all. Just look, like as you can see, you got Rayman Legends, Injustice, Metroid Fusion, hiding right there, Castlevania Area of Sorrow, Advance Wars. Now to go over each one individually, Rayman Legends is amazing. Okay, it's probably like my favorite 2D platformer of all time, and it's just really fun. The only complaint I can bring up about Rayman Legends are the Murphy levels, where you have to play as this character known as Murphy, who you control using the touchscreen. And it sounds like a decent idea to be creative with the level design, but it backfires just a bit, simply because since I play by myself, I don't have a whole lot of friends or family or whatever that I can play with. The the game uses a computer-controlled AI who isn't that bright and really won't go out of its way to get to secret areas. Sometimes they will, but only if you guide them in that direction. Um, the otherwise, aside from the Murphy levels, because I'd rather like actually be playing levels than be controlling a character, helping them get through the level. Aside from those levels, the game is amazing. As I've shown one level from the game in one of the test videos I did, the test for audio and visual with my Elgato. That level right there is probably my favorite level so far because at the end of each world, there's a music level where you platform throughout a certain level to the beat of the music that's playing, and you have to run through the entire level. So that's how they make sure you're up to beat with the music. And that one right there, like, so far I've only played 2 of those levels, that one and the one for the next world, and that one I like a lot more, because the music is just so much better. But other than that, the level design is great, characters are great, everything. It's a really fun game. So yeah, next up would have been Metroid Fusion. Metroid Fusion is actually the first 2D Metroid game I've ever played. And, I've heard, like, some good, some bad about it. I've heard some Metroid fans praise it as an amazing game. I've heard others say it holds your hand too much, it's too linear for a good Metroid game. Personally, since the only other Metroid games I've played are the Prime series, I like it a bit. It's challenging, and the game, like, even helps you a bit if you're not, like, the best Metroid player on the planet. So, yeah. It's definitely a fun game if you want to check out a 2D Metroid game, like, and you want to ease yourself into a 2D Metroid game by starting off with a bit more linearity before they completely cut the chains off and let you do whatever the hell you want in whatever order you want, as long as you have the correct items. Metroid Fusion would be a good way to go. And for those of you that want to play the Metroid games that have come out, in chronological order, this one is at the very end of the Metroid timeline, with Other M being right before it, and then Super Metroid before that. I don't know what the other ones are before it. Whatever. Yeah. Next up is Injustice: Gods Among Us. This is a game I only got because one of my friends wanted me to play it because he got it for the Wii U, and I was like, screw it, I'll get it so I can play with them. Despite actually not having played with them since I got it. But it's a decent fighter. I'm not a huge fan of these kind of combo fighting games where you have to put in all these huge ass combos in order to actually be able to do anything. I'm more a fan of Smash Brothers or what other fighting games can I think of that I really, really enjoy? Or Smash, and then there's, I don't know, some other fighting games. But, these ones like these, I'm just not a huge fan of. Mostly because I suck at them. I'll straight up admit it. I'm not a fan of them because I suck at them. I just can't get into them. I can't get into spending so much. One sec, I'm going to move my laptop a bit closer. I just can't get into them due to how much I just can't seem to learn how to play them. I've played a shit ton of matches of Injustice, but I still can't figure out how to work the controls decently. But, it's a decent game at least, if you're into it. Next up would have been Castlevania Area of Sorrow. Now, The only other Castlevania game I've played is Castlevania Circle of the Moon. And between that and Area of Sorrow, I'm not actually sure which one I like more, honestly. I think they're both tied for me. But Area of Sorrow is definitely a fun game. It's again a Metroidvania type of game. You know, it's not going back to the old way Castlevania was played. You explore this giant castle, find all these rooms, fight the bosses inside, collect souls, and do whatever else. I'm not very far in the game. I think I'm only up to the first or second boss. But yeah. Last one for the digital games is Advance Wars. Now, Advance Wars is a very unique game for Nintendo's history, because if you're a fan of Fire Emblem, you have to think Advance Wars, or at least if you're a fan over here in the East, or not East, the West. What the fuck? I'm getting my directions mixed around. But if you're a fan of Fire Emblem over here in the West, you have to think Advance Wars for Fire Emblem even being over here, unless you're one of those that that played them growing up on computer emulators or whatever. You happen to have a Super Famicom. But yeah, Advance Wars is the sole reason Fire Emblem is even over here. So I decided to check out Advance Wars, and to be honest, it's really fun, but the tutorial lasts way too long, and you can't skip it. Like, as soon as you start up a new file, the game insists that you've most likely never played it before, and you have to go through every last tutorial and pass every last tutorial before they let you get into the actual game, which is kind of annoying as fuck. I just don't like that. Yeah, other than that, Advance Wars is a decent strategy game. Again, I don't know a whole lot about the story because I can't get past the fucking tutorial because the tutorial takes fucking forever. But whatever. I'll check out the other Advance Wars games. Hopefully they fix that issue and just let you jump straight into the game. But yeah, now into all of my physical copies, and just to give you a hint, yeah, it's a lot of Wii U's. Starting off with Hyrule Warriors. This is an amazing game. I've never played a Dynasty Warriors game before in my life, but I'm a big fan of the Zelda series, and some of you may know like some of my experience with the game thanks to me doing a kind of collab Let's Play over on ICPika's channel. And I mean, I'm on the final level of this game, I think, pretty sure anyway. But it's a decently fun game, and I'd recommend any fan of Zelda or Dynasty Warriors to check it out. Granted, for all I know, it could be the worst Dynasty Warriors game ever made, or could be one of the better ones, or could be mediocre. I don't know anything about Dynasty Warriors other than what the Hyrule Warriors showed me. But it's also a game I can understand that can have a love it or hate it relationship with. Because if you're not a fan of just mashing with the same one or two buttons, over and over again to defeat hordes and hordes of enemies, it's not going to be for you. This game isn't going to change your mind on that game, on that kind of genre. It just simply isn't. You're going to hate it. I can guarantee 100% you are going to hate it if you cannot stand that kind of gameplay. However, if you can get into that style of gameplay, definitely check out Hyrule Warriors, or any of the other Dynasty Warriors games. Next up is probably one of my favorite games I got on the Wii U ever since I picked it up, and I wasn't expecting it to be one of my favorite games. This is Mass Effect 3 Special Edition. Now, what I mean by it being one of my favorite games, as many of you know, I'm not a big fan of shooters. The only shooters I can actually enjoy are ones that make are ones that actually put a lot of focus on more than just it being a shooter. Whether it's like the SOCOM series for focusing a lot on teamwork, where the SOCOM series has you take control of a team or a squad, and you can order them to do it individually to go to different locations or whatever, or order them all to do exactly one thing. Mass Effect 3 is another shooter that I definitely make an exception for, simply because it focuses on more than just shooting. This game has a heavy emphasis on the storytelling and character relationships and development, which is what I love in games. I love the stories. I love watching characters grow from how they were at the beginning to how they are at the end. My one and only problem with this game is since this is the special edition, and since Mass Effect 2 and 1 weren't on Nintendo platforms, they decided to throw in this kind of comic book thing to get new players to the Mass Effect series caught up to the events of this game. And it could have been done actually a lot better. The way they handle it, it just leaves me a bit more confused, and it takes forever to get through. Whatever, I can deal with that. It's still a decently fun game, and if you have a 360 or PS3, whatever, definitely check out Mass Effect 3 along with the other Mass Effects on those systems. But if you only have your Wii U, definitely check out Mass Effect 3. It's an amazing game. I can almost guarantee you'll love it. At least I did. Next up, Mario Kart 8. I haven't gotten any DLC. Before anyone asks, I haven't gotten the DLC, the Zelda DLC. I don't have any plans to get the Animal Crossing DLC. But yeah, it's an amazing game. Before this, the only Mario Kart game I had actually played was Double Dash. I played a little bit of the DS game, but that was it. Oh, and Mario Kart 64. I forgot about Mario Kart 64. Didn't like Mario Kart 64 that much, honestly. But Double Dash was probably my favorite game, or probably one of my favorite racers, actually. But then I played this, and it's probably my second favorite kart racer. We'll get to my favorite one is soon. It's in this big pile of Wii U games. But I definitely really enjoyed this. My only gripe is with can be said with a lot of Wii U games, at least, or at least there's a lot of the Nintendo Wii U games. The way this game handles talking to friends and whatnot when playing on it, using the gamepad's built-in mic, is you can only talk to them in the lobby. You can't talk to them during races or anything. That's kind of annoying. Granted, I can always just call my friends and we'll talk that way, or we'll talk over Skype or something like that. But other than that, I actually really do enjoy the game, despite what many people say. Especially with the remade courses from previous Mario Kart games, because unlike how they remade courses for the DS or 3DS or the Wii versions of Mario Kart, they actually full out remade these courses to make them unique to Mario Kart 8, which I definitely loved. But yeah, enough on Mario Kart 8. Next up is actually 2 in 1. Just by saying that, you could probably guess what it is. Bayonetta 2. Now, I mean, as you can see, it also has Bayonetta, and if I open it, Bayonetta 1 is actually its own disc. See? I haven't spent a whole lot of time on Bayonetta 2. I've been mostly playing the first Bayonetta, and I love the first Bayonetta. And the little bit I've played of Bayonetta 2 seems like it's 10 times better than the first Bayonetta was. I've even heard people that couldn't stand the first Bayonetta, that hated the first Bayonetta so much, went and played the second Bayonetta, and were like, oh my god, this is exactly what I wanted. This is just, oh man. And that's exactly how I felt, except I love the first Bayonetta also. It's definitely a really fun RPG. I am a bit disappointed that only Wii U fans can enjoy Bayonetta 2, especially since the first Bayonetta was a multi-platform title. But at the same time, I understand where Platinum Games were coming from with making Bayonetta 2 and possibly Bayonetta 3 a Wii U exclusive. Now, I don't know if Bayonetta 3 would be Wii U exclusive or Nintendo exclusive, or if they may port it to the other systems. I mean, they said they were happy with how Bayonetta 2 sold, and they're thinking about making Bayonetta 3 because of how Bayonetta 2 sold, despite many of us saying this game's selling like shit. It's still an amazing game, and for $60, and you're getting 2 top-notch games for, that's really good. It's $30 for 2. That's $30 per game here, and these are both fully well-made games. I mean, if you want a really, really good action game with some really decent combos, with a really good combo system and amazingly well done boss fights, check out Bayonetta 1 and 2. But yeah, it's enough on that. Next up is another game I haven't spent a whole lot of time on, and that's ZombiU. Now, ZombiU is actually, interesting thing about ZombiU, when this game was first announced, back when the Wii U was also first announced, because this was one of the Wii U's launch titles, um, it actually was the one game that actually stuck to me and was like, you know what, I'm gonna check out a Wii U just so I could check out Zombie U. Now, granted, I wasn't gonna buy the whole system just for this game, but it's still a from what I've played so far, it's a decently fun game, and I've heard, a lot of mixed opinions. Some people saying, oh my god, this is one of the most innovative zombie games ever made, and other people being like, I've played a bit better. I've played Left 4 Dead, I've played Dead Rising, they're a bit better than this. But, I haven't played either of those series. But Zombie U is definitely a decently fun game. It's definitely got a lot of suspense and quite a few jump scares, but I still love the feeling I get whenever I come up to a zombie. Granted, it's not my favorite horror game, and it doesn't have, there's certain things in it that keep it from being a great horror game in my eyes, but for a very tense zombie game, it definitely gets a lot of things right. And I love the different uses it has for the gamepad. It has so many different uses for it, and I wish more Wii U games would kind of do it. I mean, the gamepad is here for a reason. It's not here just to have a second screen to play the game on or have a map, like so many other games like Bayonetta or Mass Effect, or hell, even Nintendo's own games like Hyrule Warriors or Mario Brothers do. It kind of annoys me. Speaking of a game that only uses the gamepad as a map, we have a game in another series I've actually been wanting to play, but haven't until Christmas. Batman: Arkham Origins. Now, I'm not the biggest Batman fan in the world. In fact, the only thing previous to this that I actually enjoyed about Batman was the Dark Knight. Didn't really care for Dark Knight Rises, and Batman Begins was kind of meh in my eyes. But Arkham Origins, now this definitely makes me want to check out Arkham City. I don't know if, because I'm still waiting for some more shit from my sister or whatever, because they're supposed to be giving me my shit, but I highly doubt they actually will. But Arkham Origins is still a really decently fun game. It's a great beat 'em up style game, and it definitely puts a lot into its combat system to make it a really fun game. I have played a bit of Arkham Asylum, but not like the full game, just like a couple, like maybe an hour or two into the game before playing this. But yeah, it's definitely a really fun game. I love being able to explore this open world of Arkham and fighting all these random bad guys that you'll pass by. I also love the different ways you can take them out. Like, you can take them out stealthily, you can take them out just by walking up and beating the shit out of them, and whatnot. However, I'm kind of disappointed that I don't think Arkham Knight is going to be on the Wii U. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be PS4, Xbox One, maybe PS3, 360. I don't know. Yeah. Next up is actually my favorite kart racer, and many of you will probably scold me for it. Many of you will probably tell me that I'm a complete asshole and unsubscribe simply because I consider this a better kart racer than most Mario Karts. This is Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. Now, before y'all hate on me, before any of you, forget that we're human beings, we're allowed to have different opinions and whatnot, before y'all go ape shit, the reason I love All-Stars Racing Transformed more than most Mario Karts, okay, actually Diddy Kong Racing is one of my personal favorites, but the reason is because Diddy Kong Racing offered so many different ways to go about racing, and also had decent story mode. While this game doesn't have that story mode option, it has all these ways to do. It has all the different types of racing that you could see in like Diddy Kong Racing, but it has it all on the go. Now, some of you may be saying, well, Mario Kart does the same thing since Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. It has you switch between driving on the road, flying for the air and for a bit, and swimming through the water for a bit. You've got to remember that's for a bit. Very few of these races also have it to where you're flying for a significant amount of the race or boating for a significant amount of the race. This game has you do it on the fly and really well done. It doesn't seem like you're lagging. It feels like you actually have a hell of a lot of control. And the animation it plays for transforming is definitely well done. It doesn't take up a hell of a lot of time, and it's just a pretty fun sight to behold. Also, the item distribution is a lot better in this game, considering this game reward is more about skill than it is getting the right items. Whereas in Mario Kart, if you get like a blue shell, like in Mario Kart, if you're sucking at a race, you can just get a blue shell or something and come back all the way to the top, or get, I don't know, a bullet bill or something like that and come all the way back to the top. Whereas with this game, the most powerful items are like the All-Stars, which, you know, can help you get to the top, but it's not a guarantee. Or you can get the bees or the wasps or whatever they're called. I can't remember what the item's actually called, to hopefully trip up the person in first place. But if the person in first place is skilled enough to avoid it, the game actually rewards that racer and makes it impossible for you to basically catch up with that person. But still, I just really enjoy this game so very much. It's a definitely very fun game. But yeah, do wish it had as kind of a story mode, and I haven't played the online. Might later. So yeah, if you're still with me, there's only 3 left to go. Despite we're hitting the 20-minute mark. Told you, these videos may be getting a bit longer because I can now do longer videos. But next up is another entry to a series I haven't played before, as you can all expect by now. This was a huge collection update with a ton of games and series I haven't even touched. But this is Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist. Now, I haven't played a Tom Clancy game, Splinter Cell, whatever. I haven't played any of these games before this. So, for those of you that are fans, or like Blacklist is the worst game in the entire series, or Blacklist may be one of the better games in the series, I don't know. This is the only one I've played in this series, and I actually really enjoy it. Again, it's another shooter that puts a green. It's how can I put this on why I actually enjoy this game? It's probably because it puts a lot of emphasis on the stealth aspect of the game. It really wants you to try and go through the game without getting noticed, and it definitely will punish you for getting noticed. Granted, you can get out of any situation if you're good enough, if you're noticed, but it really wants you to try and get through it stealthily. And that's what I actually like, you know, is that it doesn't expect you to go in guns a-blazing. You can, but you will die quickly if you do that. Unless you're like the top-notch COD player or something like that. Still, though, I love this game a lot, mostly because of that aspect and the story. The story is really well done, and it makes me definitely want to check out some of the other Splinter Cell games. But, yeah, I haven't played the online mode of Spies vs. Mercs or whatever. But, yeah, there's that. Another one that's actually 2 games in one. This is New Super Mario Brothers with New Super Luigi U. As you can see, it has both, but they're both on one disc, unlike Bayonetta. Yep, both on one, as you can see on the bottom there. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the New Super Mario Brothers series, and I really only got this because it was kind of cheap. It was also a Christmas gift, so technically I got it for free. But yeah, you know, I don't completely hate the New Super Mario Brothers series, but you know, simply because I'd rather play, simply because I don't think they're that bad, but I still would rather play the full 3D Mario games simply because I think they innovate a bit more than these here do. However, New Super Luigi U, on the other hand, is amazing. It's definitely a way bigger challenge than any New Super Mario Brothers game, since it gives you no checkpoints through these long levels. The level design is upped quite a bit to make them more difficult, and you only get 100 seconds to get through the entire level. So, yeah, New Super Luigi U is an amazing game, while Mario Brothers U, I mean, I just rather play Luigi U. Too bad you have to go through Mario, well, you don't have to, technically, you just have to go through menus. Whatever. Next up is a remake of a game that I actually have on the Wii U, which I typically don't do. I typically don't get remakes if I already own the game they were already on. But this one I had to make a special exception for, simply for the online mode. And that is Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Now, Monster Hunter 3 Tri on the Wii was one of my absolute favorite games on the Wii of its entire lifetime, specifically for its online mode. Its online mode reminded me a lot of a typical MMO, but you can play it with up to like 3 other people and take down these giant monsters together. And the online community on Monster Hunter 3 was an extremely great community. I mean, everyone worked together well. They told each other where to go, and what to do. None of them. I think I maybe ran into one or two assholes the entire time I played Monster Hunter 3 online. Some of you may have worse experiences than me. Maybe every single person you ran into was an asshole, or every single server you went into lagged to hell. But that didn't happen with me, and that's why I had to pick up Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, specifically the Wii U version, because the 3DS one doesn't have an online mode unless you um, get the Wii U version, which I kind of think is stupid. However, I do think it's a decently fun game, and the graphics, the updated graphics for a bit are definitely an improvement, and I'm really glad I can go back. I'm going back through this game and reliving some of the stuff that I missed, and I'm definitely going to jump onto the online mode again soon, so that I can experience it again, because I love the online mode in Monster Hunter 3, and I'm praying to God, please, Capcom, please, for the love of everything, do not leave Monster Hunter 4 as a 3DS exclusive. I am praying to you. Make it Wii U, please. I do not want to play Monster Hunter on the go. Or, I mean, I do, kinda, but I don't, but it just seems way too big of a game to be confined to a small screen like the 3DS. Is my 3DS anywhere around here? No? Is it? Actually, yeah, that's right here. See, look how small this screen is. Look at it. 1 second, let it power up so you can actually see. One second. Look how small these screens are. Look at that. Do you think you fucking Monster Hunter, this game of this series, where you're supposed to exemplify how huge and threatening these fucking monsters are, would be amazing on a tiny ass screen like the 3DS? Granted, there's the 3DS XL also, but I don't think even that small screen upgrade could compare to the size of the gamepad or the size of a fucking huge ass TV. Please release it on the Wii U, for the love of everything. Release Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the Wii. I don't care if you're only say it's a 3DS exclusive now, just so you can get a lot of people to buy a 3DS version, and then like a month or two down the line be like, oh yeah, we're also making it for the Wii U. I won't be pissed at you for that. Mostly because I can kind of see it coming. But yeah, please, I want to play Monster Hunter 4 on my big TV. Well, it's not exactly big, but you know what I mean. Still. So yeah, but that's it for the game collection update thing. I will try to get this uploaded fast, and then I don't know, if I might try and get an Elgato test video or something up today. If I can't, then I'll get it done Monday. So yeah, bye bye.